My father, J.P. Mcfadden, had died several years earlier, and we were still keenly feeling his loss. J.P. had never gone in for such events. He preferred to fundraise from behind his trusty typewriter, but Monsignor convinced us that we ought to try and offered his help. Even if you get 50 people the first year, he said, it will be a success. Well, in the fall of 2003, we had our first dinner honoring the late, great Congressman Henry Hyde. We had many, many more than 50 people, and it was a terrific evening. Several people here were there tonight, like Mike Ullman, Father Rutler. And now we have arrived at our 10th anniversary. This is the second dinner without my dear mother Faith, who died August 30th, 2011, although I know that she is here tonight. This is also the first dinner without two of our beloved friends, our board member, Priscilla Buckley, sister of our honoree, who we lost last March, and also Dr. Robert Walsh, a great pro-life obstetrician who delivered me and all four of my siblings. If there is a theme tonight, it would be both honoring the past and preparing for the future. We are honoring the great Judge and Senator James L. Buckley, who is one of the first friends and contributors to the Human Life Review. Now, for those of you who are new to us, my father, J.P. Mcfadden, was the associate publisher of National Review for many years. But after the Roe v. Wade decision in 1973, he dedicated himself to the defense of the unborn. His first endeavor was the Ad Hoc Committee in Defense of Life, a lobbying office which also produced the lively newsletter, Life Letter. You will find in your gift bags a special reprint of the very first issue of Life Letter featuring our honoree, Judge Buckley, from late spring 1973. My father went on to start the educational and charitable Human Life Foundation in 1975, and the lead article of that first issue of our review was the powerful address by then Senator Buckley to the U.S. Senate introducing his Human Life Amendment. Mike Ullman, who is here tonight, was both an early editor of the Human Life Review and counsel for Senator Buckley. And he will introduce Judge Buckley in a little bit, and I want to say that we are terrifically honored to have them both here tonight. Before I move on, I would like to thank our small but mighty staff, women who make many sacrifices for the cause by working at a struggling nonprofit. Our financial manager, Rose Flynn DeMayo, another National Review alumni. Our managing editor, Ann Conlon, who is also the editor of our book, The Debate Since Roe, which is a compilation of articles from over 30 years of our review, which, by the way, is being sold by Ignatius Press. And the second volume will be out in January in time for the 40th anniversary of Roe. Also, our production manager and desktop publishing whiz, Christina Angelopoulos, who is also my sister. And today is her birthday. She is also the proud mother of the most adorable twin girls on the planet, who will be 3 next week. And our very special volunteer, Pat O'Brien. Years ago, before our first dinner, I got a letter from Pat O'Brien, who was a longtime reader of the review. She knew I had 3 young children, and she offered to help. She had taken early retirement as a computer programmer. Well, my mom and I had lunch with Pat and told her about Monsignor Clark's idea and said that we might need help organizing our first dinner database. And Pat came on board, set up a system for our dinner data, and soon became an integral part of our team. A volunteer who works long hours, especially on putting together this dinner year after year. She has also become a beloved friend to each one of us. When we realized this was her 10th anniversary, I decided to risk honoring her, a risk because Pat is extremely humble and doesn't want the spotlight and will probably be really mad at me. But we have a gift for her as well tonight, which my daughter Grace will deliver to her table. So Pat, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your indescribable goodness. I would like to welcome and thank all our supporters tonight. Many of you have been to most, if not all, of our dinners. And especially, I would like to thank our table benefactors and sponsors. And it is really wonderful to have a New York conservative party here tonight, right in the middle of our room. The Human Life Foundation is unique. We have two programs. The educational, we publish the quarterly, the Human Life Review, which is, as our new website will say, the intellectual backbone of the pro-life movement. And the charitable, we have a matching grant program for crisis pregnancy centers. This dinner is held to support our program. Now, as you have heard, a few blocks away, maybe about 14 or so, there is another dinner with a huge ticket price, which has already raised $5 million for charities, and that is a good thing. But I think there is one thing they are short on over at the Waldorf that we have in abundance here: uncompromising defenders of human life. That is a Catholic dinner. The foundation, the review, is non-sectarian. We welcome people of all faiths or of none. Our mission is to stand athwart the culture that says that people who are pro-life are expressing religious views or sentimental views, but aren't using their brains. And we say that's wrong. The best minds, the best arguments, the most eloquent words, they are all on the side of life. As our logic, reason, science, medicine, you name it. As our senior editor, Mary Meehan, has written, even liberals should be pro-life. Aren't they supposed to stand up for the little guy, the poor, the weak? Who is more disadvantaged than an unwanted, unborn child? What we have in this culture is a massive case of the emperor's new clothes. The truth is there, but people don't want to or can't see it. We exist to help them see it. The Human Life Review also exists to provide a record. My father famously said, there's got to be a record. We won't be like Nazi Germany. No one should be able to say, whatever happens, that they didn't know. And there is a third very important purpose, and that is to shore up those on the side of life. I have recently had two eminent examples of this purpose. First, I heard from our friend Nat Hentoff, a previous Great Defender of Life Award winner, who calls himself an atheist Jewish pro-lifer. Nat writes a column at the Jewish World Review, and he wanted to revisit a subject he wrote on for us, President Obama's radical pro-abortion view, with the fact that abortion is the #1 cause of death in the African American community. Hentoff, God bless him, does not use the internet, so he calls us when he needs information. I gathered a lot of information and FedExed it to him. And he wrote two terrific columns in the last couple of weeks on abortion in the Black community. The second one was about Alveda King, who is the niece of Martin Luther King Jr. and a leader in the pro-life community. And she and Father Pavone, Frank Pavone of Priests for Life, who is also here tonight, are part of a symposium in our next issue on reflections on 40 years of Roe. The second example, I recently saw Professor Marianne Glendon at a lecture. She is the Learned Hand Professor of Law at Harvard and the former U.S. Ambassador to the Holy See. She thanked me effusively for the Human Life Review, telling me that she was slated to give an address at Massachusetts Citizens for Life, which is actually tomorrow night, and that she had been racking her brains to think of something to say that she hadn't already said. And when she got our latest issue, she got so excited that she started ripping pages out, and then she said, "I'm sorry I did that." I said, "No, that's okay. I can send you more." Because she was finding all sorts of fresh information to use in her address. She was especially happy to see our senior editor, William Murkison's article about the dramatic increase in pro-life legislation on the state level. It was heartening news for pro-lifers, and she was glad to have it. So tonight we are also looking to the future. We are honoring an organization of pro-life lawyers and law students, advocates for life. And accepting the award is a young woman who co-founded this group, Kelly Fedoruk. I met Kelly a couple of years ago. She was like an energetic blast of fresh air. Her youth, enthusiasm, intelligence, and most of all kindness gave me such hope for her generation. And Jack mentioned that we were students together at Holy Cross. When we were at Holy Cross, the pro-life group, which was pro-life and just pacifists, had about 7 people. Things have changed dramatically, thank God, in the college scene. In your gift bags tonight, you will find Judge Buckley's excellent book, Freedom at Risk, as well as the summer issue of the Human Life Review, and some of the esteemed authors are here tonight. Mary Meehan, George McKenna, Thomas Clark, also Brian Caulfield, David Mills, Greg Funstein. We also have here tonight the winners of our very first college essay contest. The title was What One Person Can Do for Life, a profile of a pro-life, sung or unsung hero. Both winners, I believe, and their subjects are here. I don't know if you can stand. I know Julie is here. The first prize winner is Julia Pritchett, profiling Julie Bayou, an indefatigable sidewalk counselor. And Madeline Winner is our second prize winner who profiled Lori Kehoe, Executive Director of New York State Right to Life. As we approach the 40th anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision, we have been, thanks to some very generous supporters, running a campaign to up our visibility. Our new website will be going live in a few weeks, and we have a poster in the lobby with an example of it. It will be much more user-friendly, interactive. We will have, for example, a film of the speeches tonight. And we are working, as Jack will tell you, to make the Human Life Review and its valuable archives much more accessible to those used to getting their information online. It is important to reach out to the young where they are, something I have learned from my own children, but also the reason I have my own 3 children here tonight. I want them to know where they came from, the legacy of their grandparents, and also where I hope they will be going along with the other students in this room, on to a future where people will be courageous enough to defend life in all its stages and abilities. Thank you again for your support, and I hope you will enjoy the evening.